Okay, what is recruitment marketing and why? This definition from Glassdoor, I'm not going to read it out for you, but it is, for me, the most accurate that I've seen. The only thing that I disagree with is these last two words, pre-application. Because recruitment marketing is not just what you do to attract candidates. It is also what you do when they are employees. Recruitment marketing, employer branding, however you want to position it, is important at every single stage of the candidate and employee life cycle, and I'll talk more about that later. So everything else up to pre-application, I agree with. Now, why do we do recruitment marketing? Well, it does shorten your time to hire. Companies also do it because it reduces your cost to hire. It also improves your quality of hire. There was some recent research done from Universum, who are world leaders in employer branding, and companies that do recruitment marketing really well and have strong employer brands actually improved their applicant pool quality by 54%. They improved their quality of hire by 9%. But one of the things I like about employer branding and recruitment marketing is it enables candidates to self-select. Because if you're clear about what it is that you offer candidates and what they can expect in return, they're far more likely to know what they've signed up to. There's far less likely to have surprises, and as a result, they hit the ground running quicker. They're far quicker to onboard. It's much smoother and it's more effective. And that's why, according to recent research, 83% of companies said that if you've got a strong employer brand, they believe that's having a significant impact on their ability to hire top talent. Okay, the other 17% don't know what they're talking about. And companies are increasing their spend on recruitment marketing. They are understanding how important this is. Last year, 59% of companies in the US and in Europe said they are spending more on recruitment marketing and employer branding than they did the previous year. A persona is nothing more than a specific and detailed profile of your target talent group. It's getting crystal clear on who you're trying to attract and why. And the reason that you do that is so that all of your recruitment marketing that you're spending money on and all of your employer brand work is targeted. It's resonating with the right audience that you've identified. Otherwise, it's just broadcast and it's indeterminate. Now, when we talk about personas, what you're trying to do is build up a picture of what that ideal candidate looks like. So how do you go about doing this? Well, first of all, there's some things that you need to consider. So we're looking at things like demographics here, okay? So just a quick and dirty fag packet job, what age are we looking at here? What gender? What location? What type of job experience do we want this person to have? Typically, what type of levels of experience do they have? Okay? Then you go a little bit deeper. What content do they like to receive? What do they engage with? And again, what channels are they on? It's not just enough to say, oh, they're on social media. If they're on social media, fine. Is it LinkedIn? Is it Facebook? Is it something else? And the reason that you're starting to build this picture is because what you're ultimately trying to get to is what are their drivers? What are their challenges? What are their pain points? Is it, for example, career progression? Is it that they want a role that is more strategic? Do they want more work-life balance? Whatever it may be, doesn't matter. What you're trying to do is understand at every stage of that process in the recruitment journey, how are they thinking as a candidate? How are they feeling? So as you move them through that, you are resonating at all of those key moments of truth. How do we build personas? So 3 quick tips for this. Firstly, understand your business and people strategy. I know it sounds obvious, but a lot of people don't connect with their people strategy. What type of people are you going after? What type of talent are you looking for? Okay, what does the business want? And how are you going to get them? So for example, if I look at us in Takeda, we're moving into specialty care. Now that's a very different mindset and approach that we've had in the past for primary care. So what implication does that have on your skills, on your experience? Ask the right questions of hiring managers. You know, a lot of questions are just, okay, you know, what age, blah, 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 blah. You know, is it part-time, is it full-time? Yeah, you need that information, but it's asking questions like, okay, what experience do you really need this person to have? What different skills than they've had in the past in this role? If it is a role that's going to take the team forward, if it's going to be transformational, what type of DNA do you need for that person to have? What is it like to be successful in this role, in this team? Out of all the laundry list, you know, the Superman recs that we get, what's essential and what's nice to have? Okay? And if we start to ask those more strategic and insightful questions, you're far more likely to get strategic, better quality data back from your hiring managers. But also, it's about asking your own employees, your own candidates. You've got a fantastic source of data right there in front of you. So whether you do, you know, third-party research, desk-based research, go out and ask your employees to create pictures of success. Ask people that are currently in the role, for example. That's something that we've been doing at Takeda, where people that have maybe come on as contractors or whatever, we've been saying, okay, this role might turn perm. What is it, now you've been working for the company for a while, that you think is going to make a successful person in that role? Get them to help you build that picture of success. Constantly surprises me that people don't use the resources that are in front of them. Okay, you've got ready-made focus groups sitting there. Go and ask them. What are your pain points? What are your challenges? Because people will tell you. If you ask them, they will tell you. Now, we've got our personas. We know who we're trying to target. How do we go about creating compelling content? There are 3 key principles to creating really good content. First of all, great content provides a solution to a candidate challenge. But what it also does is it reframes that challenge as a positive call to action, right? So I'll give you an example. If you're trying to target, let's say, mothers that are returning to the workplace after having children, and you know that a pain point for them is around flexibility, around work-life balance maybe, you could create a downloadable guide to how to come back into the workplace at your employer. That starts to position you as a leader in this area, okay? So that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to reposition a solution and a call to action. So you're directly talking to what is a burning pain point for those candidates. And mustn't forget, I said this earlier about emotion, right? And I can't stress this enough. I was speaking at an event the other day and I was making this point again and again. Great content isn't just connecting on the professional level. It's also connecting on the emotional level with the needs of that person, okay? People buy jobs, they buy companies in exactly the same way that they buy an iPhone. They buy it on emotion, all right? It's called employer branding for a reason. Now, how do you create compelling content? 3 quick tips again. First of all, leverage your EVP. If you don't have an employer value proposition, I suggest you get one really quickly. But leverage your EVP. What is it that you already do when you go out to market? How do you differentiate yourselves? What space do you own? And really leverage that messaging. Use data. Okay, take data. You've got your owned media channels. You've got LinkedIn. Look at your Glassdoor. Look at your employee surveys. Look at things like exit interviews, if you do them, right? Where are you getting talent from? Where are you losing talent to? What are people saying is attractive about your company? But what are they saying when they leave your company about why they're joining the competition? These are all really rich sources of data that you can use to then build content off the back of. Typically, content falls into 2 buckets. The first type is high quality content. Typically though, it's low volume. This takes a lot of resources to do, but it's got a really good, clear call to action. So what I mean by this is things like, if you go on our careers website and you sign up for these job alerts, for example, you can get a free downloadable guide to succeeding in HR in pharmaceutical industry, right? Takes quite a lot of content to produce. It's got an effort, but it's very clearly targeted at a persona and it reflects your EVP. Okay? And then what you do is you take that high quality piece of content and then you start reusing it and chunking it down into smaller bite-sized pieces of content, which is higher volume, lower value. Not lower quality, but it's lower value. So what I mean by that is things like social media posts, doing infographics, doing short little vlogs, okay, to raise that awareness and get that engagement, okay? Because different content is needed at different parts of the candidate journey. So if you are, for example, at the stage of awareness, social media is really good to get people aware of your company, to get them engaging with your brand. But you want to move them on. So you want to be driving people to, for example, your careers site where that high quality content sits, so that they're going on there and then they're engaging with really good content. So say, for example, could be a webinar, could be a white paper, could be an interview with your CEO. So you're moving them through to interest, through to desire, and through to action. All of this content has to be moving people through the funnel. If it's not doing that, it doesn't have a purpose. This is great. We've got our persona, we've got our stakeholders engaged, we've got great content. How do you get your content out there and choose the channels? Some principles here. Go back to your persona work, check in with the data. What people forget often is go where your target talent is, right? If they're not on LinkedIn, don't go on there. Go on specialist sites, go on forums. And different channels have different purposes, right? So if your purpose is just to raise awareness, get a bit of buzz about your company, then LinkedIn, social media, whatever it is, that's great. If you just want to get applications as quickly as possible, then go to a recruitment fair, post a job ad, do a hackathon like we did, whatever it is, okay? But make sure that the objective is driving the channel, not the other way around. Because we all get hiring managers, we've all been there, who say, oh, I want to be on Instagram. Right, that's great, but with my second point as well, resource accordingly. If you want to be on a channel, make sure you're actually there and you're actually putting content out there. If you're going to, for example, go to a recruitment fair, make sure your hiring managers are available, enthusiastic, and know what they're going to say. Look at the metrics. You've got loads of metrics out there these days. A lot of them are free. Did people do what you wanted them to do on that channel? Did they go from your social media to your careers website and then sign up for your job alerts? If they didn't, then maybe you need to be looking at your channel strategy and be flexible in your approach. You can always flick between channels. It's very, very easy these days. But you can look at your Google Analytics, you can look at all your metrics, and you can make quick decisions if you're agile. Or start and take advantage of some of the new channels that are coming up there all the time. You need to start thinking and acting like marketeers, because that's what you all now are. Okay, I know you didn't ever get told this, but that's now what your job is. Secondly, go back to your business and help to elevate the capabilities. So everybody in your team, but also your business, start thinking of the candidate first and start thinking of the candidate as a consumer. Okay, I know a lot of this stuff that I've been talking about, personas and journeys, is standard marketing practice, but we haven't been doing it in HR and we haven't been doing it well. But this war for talent is forcing us to get really smart at it. And thirdly and finally, be bold, be brave. Go and challenge back to the business, ask different questions, okay? Because leadership mindset is the absolute biggest challenge facing employer branding. And it's only by working together as an industry that we're all going to push the envelope forward. But if we get this right, then it's going to be a really powerful competitive advantage for you guys getting the right talent for you into your business.